Good morning, good morning. It is cold out, but it's starting to thaw out. I'm sorry, got the camera down, warm up all the cars because I got to go out today. And I mean, it's cold. So this is the 2001 Accord. So let's see. Turns right over. Turn that heat on. Turn that one on last. Come over here and turn the Civic on. Yeah, my daughter let that car just rot. If I had that car right now, that car would be running, but my daughter just don't care. Alright. The car is cold. Oh, it's cold. Turn right over. See, I know that resonator. I gotta do something about that resonator. That's what I should have pulled off that car when I had a chance. I should have went there and pulled that resonator off. But once that warms up, that noise stops. I know it needs a resonator, but oh wow, this car is cold. Let's see. Turns right over. So I'm gonna let these run for a little while. One of the things I love about the Honda game is that these bad boys turn over. When it's cold, they all turn over. This one right here has always been the champion. I think this thing started up winter after winter after winter after winter. This is why I keep this car. But now this one's gonna be my project car. I'm not gonna drive this one much. I'm gonna play around with it. Let it sit for the winter. I'll drive it around the neighborhood when it's cold. But this thing right here is the champ. The second is actually the Civic. The Civic is a champ too, because when my cars break down, that car is running. The Accord, again, is supposed to be a cruising car. I just got some new tires on the back. I think that's a little bit soft. I don't like that. It should be a little bit harder, but yeah, I'll take them to get a little air, but I mean, they feel fine. It's just the ones on the back, them bad boys be like stones. Yeah, a little pliable. But as you can see, everybody starts. I really didn't have nothing to do today, but now I have to because my wife got me doing something. And this exhaust is gone. I need to get another exhaust for this car. And I hadn't planned on putting I don't think I'm ever gonna put a tip on this one. Depends if I find a full exhaust. If I find a full exhaust, I probably won't. I think I'll just have that repaired because I don't want to put an exhaust on there. As you see, that one got way quiet. That resonator, I had it just shakes. It's probably some type of eBay one, but I took the full exhaust off. And it gets quiet, after so long. Just out early in the morning on Bosu America. And the next set of wheels I'm getting the original flat Honda wheels that were on that car. I'm gonna paint them white and put Ronell splits on them. I don't think I'm doing no more big rims, not unless I do it for that car. All right, guys, what's up? This is Will Fullman from Bosu America. Well, today I'm gonna start a new segment called Tech Talk. And Tech Talk is just talking about cars that I've actually owned, and I'm going to tell you some points what I like about them. All right, guys, sit back and enjoy Bosu America's Tech Talk. All right, guys, one car I owned, if I'm not mistaken, was a 1989 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. This car was a decent car. The pic that I'm showing is almost the exact one I had. It was good on gas, and I'm trying to remember what happened with it. Oh, it had an intake manifold gasket problem. This is what I've had with all three that I owned, and this is one of them. Once it died, I got rid of it, and also the light up dash wouldn't work right. But outside of that, the car ran good. I'm trying to think of any other problems. Oh, it had a reverse neutral switch, which is common for those cars. But that's what this Oldsmobile. I want to talk about the next one as well. All right, if I'm mistaken on the year, I'm sorry, but I think this was an 89. I think the other one was an 82 83 or something. They were like in their 80s, but this 89 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, this black one was a beautiful car. I like this car a lot. I mean, it was clean, it had the rims on it. It was kind of like a sports car for me. I didn't put decals on it, I just cruised it and kept it clean. But the problems I had was the intake manifold gasket. I had it changed, and the problem that I did is when I change it, they have a gasket that will do the exact same thing again, which will make sure gas in your oil again if you don't get the one with the metal studs. I don't know why they don't tell you that, period. It's just good luck. You try to get the cheapest one to get the job done. Also, I had a problem with the turn signals. The turn signals just kept breaking over and over again. But the last thing to put, no, it wasn't the last thing. The next problem I had is I turned and the ball joint broke. Let me tell you something about these Oldsmobile Cutlass Supremes. When the ball joint breaks, it breaks and the wheel separates and pulls it out of the transmission. It's crazy. The last thing that broke with that car was the transmission shell cracked. So I would never own these Oldsmobile Cutlass Supremes again. They're beautiful cars, I love them, but they are just pieces of garbage. I think it had the 3300 series, I might be wrong, but that's what ooh man, that car made me. All right, here's a car. This is a 1985 Buick Park Avenue 2-doors. I actually enjoyed this car so much. The main problems I had with it was the master cylinder went out on me twice. The reverse neutral switch went out on me as well. The radiator went on me like 2 or 3 times. But the car itself, it was like Buick was luxury. When I drove this car, it had beautiful seats in it that were like leather, had a couple tears in them. My kids hated them in the summer. The trunk, when you let it down, you just click and it pull it down. I had like the 3.5-inch white walls on it, and the hood reversed open. I really liked that car a lot. The only reason I got rid of it is I had too many cars, and when I sold it, some young guy drove it down the street. You know, I've seen it like months later up on a pole. It was tore up. And it hurt because you don't see too many 2-door ones anymore. But this was one of my favorite cars at one time. I used to love Buick, but I hated working also on the injectors. All right, guys, I'm only going to talk about one more car because I have plenty to talk about. I think it was a 1989 Nissan Maxima. Please forgive me if I forget these years of these cars, but this Maxima was not a bad car. One of the only problems I had with this car was the alternator sat low to the ground. You know, I know a lot of cars have alternators that sit low, but where this alternator sat, even though it was a splash guard, if you hit water, this thing would just scream like Thursday. That was the only problem I had. It was a used car. It had a lot of quirks in it, but that was the only problem I have with it. I'm trying to exactly remember how. Oh, I know what happened to that car. I lived in Fairmount, and some young boys went through a stop sign and hit me and spent me into a building. That's what destroyed that car, bent the frame and everything. And just to let you know, food for thought. A lot of cars I got years ago, I actually bought them through Alfred Motors. A lot of people would be like, I wouldn't buy nothing from there. But if you knew something about the car, you kind of knew it was going to be a problem. And at the time, I had to have something, so a couple $100, get you a down payment on the car, you drive it off, and start buying parts for it because you're going to need it. But I haven't been to Alfa Motors in years, but I did buy I bought a bunch of cars from those guys. If I see a Honda, I kind of can do it if I'm in a bad spot because I know a lot more about Hondas, and I also talk about a couple more cars that I liked a lot. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this part of Tech Talk. I think next time I'll start talking about parts and other things. But for right now, I wanted to talk about cars I've owned. See you guys. Thanks. Like, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. Take care.